Alright, let's see where this puts us at. Are we live? Test, test, test. Looks like we're live. Does it sound like we're live?
Looks like we're...
Does indeed. Let's move our microphone back a little bit. I might need to play with the microphone sound settings, but hello, people of the internet. It is I, Soul Rock Dragon, here back with more Fate Stay Night Remaster, where today we will be confronting Berserker. Last time we were kidnapped by Ilya, broke out of Ilya's castle. Rin told Archer to stay behind and make a last stand. Then we got a replacement scene for what was probably an intimate scene. It was very weird. It was like Shiro was consumed by a dragon in a giant lava furnace forge area that was supposed to represent Saber's mana core or something. It was weird. You know, I get it in retrospect. Like, I can understand the thematic themes of it, but it's still weird. It's weird. Still weird. Anyways, their battle comes to an end. The two fought fiercely, and it ended with the disappearance of the Red Knight. Alright, this is an interlude. I forgot. So we ended off with an interlude, which looks like it is the aftermath of Archer vs. Heracles. Good gracious, what did he do? Now a shadow of its former glory, the reception room is in ruins. The floors are cracked and broken. Many of its walls have been knocked down. The stairs have collapsed and broken marble is scattered across the floor. There is hardly a trace of the reception room's original form. Oh, the stairs are still there. Some might even say time itself has been stolen from this space. After such vast destruction, the scene bears no resemblance to what it was just 2 hours ago. 2 hours? Good damn. Go, Archer! A sculpture, well suited to destruction, stands in the middle of it all. Standing over 2 meters tall, it bears the crude likeness of a man, as if roughly hacked out of stone. It hardly bears mentioning. This is Ilya's Veil's servant, Berserker. The giant doesn't move. Its entire body is splattered with red, with several holes torn through it. Not a single inch of the giant's body isn't wounded. 1. Both of its legs appear on the verge of collapse. 2. A massive gash on the neck. 3. Arms practically hanging off the elbows. 4. Something has pierced it from the shoulder to the groin. Oh, that's just painful to think about. 5. Blood gushes from its chest. 6. Its belly is torn open. Berserker is not moving. He will. It's clearly a corpse. The battle itself lasted less than an hour, so why are they still here 2 hours later? The result, unexpected. Berserker's master is beside herself. She should be picking off what remained of her prey, but instead she just stands there, staring at the devastation for over an hour. I don't believe this. Who was that guy? Her voice is a low mumble now. The battle came as a humiliation to her. Her servant is the most powerful. Among all heroic spirits, maybe 1 or 2 could compete with Heracles, the most renowned hero of all time. And yet, some unknown archer defeated him. The Red Knight fought on equal ground with Berserker, and in the end even killed Berserker, which nobody else had even thought possible. And for that, he can never be forgiven. To Ilya, it was as if she'd just been stabbed in the heart by a passing insect. She prided herself on being the strongest master. For to lose to the sort she should have so casually trampled must be unthinkable. This is so frustrating. Can't believe you let him beat you 6 times. You weren't going on easy. Okay, Emiya. Props to Emiya. 6 kills of Berserker. Took out half of his damn lives in one fight. Sure, it cost him his own fight, but that was when his master was on retreat. If he used a certain something, he might very well have taken the whole thing, because 6 lives is damn impressive. The statue doesn't answer. It has neither the time nor the need to do so. Berserker stands still, focuses on healing himself. Even for him, this was an unusual battle. His noble phantasm nullifies any attack. So long as the attack is not of the highest possible class, it won't so much as scratch him. As such, he rarely sustains any wound. In his own time, none could harm him after he attained greatness. But here, now, he's been hurt 6 times. Archer delivered 6 fatal blows. Each of his attacks was a different sort. That is because even the strongest attacks won't work twice on Berserker. Strange as this battle was, the most truly bizarre part was, if Archer was a hero with so many different abilities, his identity should have been obvious. But even after his body was pulverized, Archer's identity remained a mystery. What was really surprising was how he carried himself in a way that seemed contradictory as a servant. A faint light flickers in the pupils of Berserker's eyes. Were Berserker a normal, rational servant, he'd probably feel pretty bad about how this battle went. Whatever his identity might have been, Archer was a rare and formidable adversary. If only Berserker's sanity hadn't been taken from him, he would have fought to his heart's content, and maybe even enjoyed himself. I won't forgive them. I'll never forgive them. How dare they insult me like this? Ilia's voice echoes in the shattered hall. Whatever tiny embers of rationality might have been returning to him are immediately snuffed out by her voice. He's just Berserker now. His role is to overwhelm and annihilate his master's enemies. Have you healed Berserker? Berserker doesn't need to answer. So long as the wound doesn't kill him, he'll heal in moments. But to completely recover from this would take as much as 3 days. Can't wait that long. Fine, we're killing them now. The giant silently objects. It's almost instinctive. At least when it comes to a fight, Berserker has instincts similar to Saber's. He can certainly destroy his enemies easily enough. But if Saber has recovered enough that she can use her noble phantasm, that will be a different story. Berserker will not fall to a mere sacred sword, but there is always that small chance of something going wrong. His instincts tell him that he should be completely prepared before facing this servant. What? 5 lives should be plenty. There is no enemy to worry about, even without your god hand. Did somebody else take a life from him earlier? He should have 12 lives. Or what? Are you going to let them get away even after they made fools of us, Berserker? That's what you're saying. Nobody's going to escape my forest. Yep, I'm leaving Rin and Saber to you. You can kill them, toy with them, whatever you want. Ilia hops down from the stairs. She walks through the rubble to the exit without a moment's concern for Berserker, bloodied as he is. But suddenly, she stops as if remembering something. Come, let's begin our hunt, Berserker. But you can't kill Saber's master so easily. I'm going to make sure Shiro dies in the worst way imaginable. Ilia heads out of the castle, giggling happily. 'Cause she is a demented child. Poor Ilia. The sun is about to rise. Ilia knows the forest like the back of her hand. She won't have any trouble finding her prey, even if they try to hide. Her targets have only minutes to live. I mean, they were running for like a couple hours, so they probably have more than a minute or two. Just saying. Unless Berserker can literally jump leaps and bounds that easily. Which he very well could, probably. And I don't know why, but I'm forced out of the ruins. Tosaka kicks me out, saying the girls have to make some adjustments and changing and stuff like that. Damn, what is she talking about? Men have things too, you know. I lean against a wall as I grumble. I guess I sound like a sore loser, and that's exactly it. ... I remember, and then I try to shake off my desires. I can't think about that right now. If I keep lingering on my memories with Saber, I'm a dead man. More than anything, it would be rude to Saber. I make contact with Saber to save her. Well, he definitely did more than that. I shouldn't have any other feelings for Saber. What a crock. It's a pathetic excuse. Even I don't believe it. I can't forget what happened with Saber. But I need to. For now. Honestly, I don't have time to worry about that kind of stuff. Our concern right now is how to fight Berserker. Right. I should be doing whatever I can. He told me that there, at the end. I think back to Archer. I never warmed up to him, but every word he said stuck with me. I stare at the tree branch. There's only so much I can do. I may not be much help, but I'm going to do whatever I can as best I can. For starters, I snap off a nearby tree branch. Then I try finding other straight branches. We're done. Come back inside. Tosaka's voice reaches me in my search. I head back to the ruins, carrying the branches I collected. Well, the only other problem is whether I can act anything approaching normal around Saber after looking into her heart, however briefly. This way, Shiro. Rin has something to tell you. I guess I was worrying over nothing. Saber is her usual self. Unlike me, immature as I am, she's probably just approaching this pragmatically. Yeah, I'll be right there. Damn, I'm not gonna let this get me down. I'm so damn dumb, being the only one blushing over this, so I'm gonna do my best to keep my composure. There you are. We're going to start our meeting. Well, it might be a meeting, but we don't have time for arguments. Hey, J6, welcome to the stream. I'll be things. There's only so much we can do to defeat Berserker, so you can at least hear me out. Can you at least hear me out? Blech. I did see your Discord message, I just haven't gotten around to replying to it just yet. Thank you for telling me about that code. I will probably be claiming that on the next stream, if it's available next stream, and if I can remember how to claim mystery gifts in Pokemon Violet. Saber and I nod. Our plan is simple. We're no match against Berserker using normal means. If we're going to win, we need to ambush him, which means we need to take his head off in a single attack, and not leave him any chance to counterattack. I agree. Simply trading blows with Berserker will not critically injure him. If we are to defeat him, we will require another strategy. Besides trading blows, are you saying that we need to attack Berserker before he realizes he's being attacked? Well, yeah, I did look into it a little bit. It was like a part of a VGC winners team, or something like that. Oh, sure. I think it's reckless to go toe-to-toe with them, but that just sounds reckless. He's not the sort to just let something like that happen. Excuse me. Yeah, it's pretty optimistic to think we can get right up to Berserker without him noticing us. He has Ilia's Veil. She'll immediately detect Saber and Shiro's presence. I mean, I can conceal my presence, so that's not a problem. I don't understand the logic, but I get the sense Ilia can detect me and Saber. If Tosaka's the only one who can conceal herself... You know, Shiro, I'm pretty sure it was established earlier on in the Grail War that mages can detect other mages. Shiro? So, dum-dum. You're not saying you'll be the only one launching the ambush, are you? Of course. You're the main target here, and I'm the one who can move freely. Leave striking Berserker from behind to me. Make it sound so easy, but you sure as hell know it won't be. Of course not. That's why I'm going to have Saber create an opening for me. Saber, how much have you recovered? Fighting normally should not be a problem, however I should avoid using my Noble Phantasm. With the amount of magical energy I have right now, I will no longer be able to maintain my body the moment I use it, and even if I do, it will not be at full power, so I do not believe it would be sufficient enough to defeat Berserker. Yes, that's fine. I'll have Saber be the one to fight Berserker. With Shiro, of course. I'll hide nearby, watching. I'm just a bonus to Ilia's Veil, so I think she'll abandon the two of you and ran if she doesn't see... So she'll think I abandoned the two of you and ran if she doesn't see me around. Mixed up some sentence structure there. I suppose that's not impossible. If our chances are slim, we just have to make them better. Shiro seems to be friendly with Ilia's Veil, so we might be able to trick her by talking to her. Oh no, talking is not an option anymore, not after the humiliation she suffered. Tosaka looks at me meaningfully. I may have some objections, but I'll hear you out. I'll tell Ilia that Tosaka fled. She'll believe me. She doesn't doubt what people tell her. But there is still a problem. While I can confront Berserker, I cannot permit Shiro to do the same. Shiro simply will not survive an attack from Berserker. Nobody said Shiro needs to fight. Shiro just needs to provide backup while keeping his distance from Saber. It's going to be hard for Saber to push past Berserker alone, so help her out if she gets in danger. Hey Andy, welcome to the stream. How'll be things? When are we shiny hunting? Probably not for a while. I mean... hang on, I'm trying to think. So, Pokemon streams are on Thursday. I did do some Union Circle time with J6 last stream. So, I suppose this coming Thursday, some of the stream can be dedicated. It would have to be in the Terrarium in Blueberry Academy. And you would have to probably provide the Herba Mystica in order to... Well, that's the thing. There's not going to be a specific hunt. As far as I'm aware. I mean, it would probably be based on whatever outbreaks I have. Yeah, I mean, that's up to you. You don't have to join in, J6. You don't have to join in, but maybe, Andy, maybe. But it would probably be dependent on what kind of outbreaks are available in the terrarium at the time. For me, or for you guys, I don't know. It kind of... Oh, there's a meal in the Academy that gives you Sparkling Power one. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it would definitely depend on what outbreaks are available, I think. Unless, I guess, if you guys can if you guys want to hunt something specific, we can hunt something specific. It would just be, you know, up to you guys. Oh, wait, J6? J6, if it has meat in it, I'm not going to eat it. I do not eat meat in the Pokemon world. Not unless it has the Veluza things, because Veluza regenerates its lost flesh, which is weird. That's foolish. Shiro is not versed in magecraft like you. Yeah, I know you want to battle me, Andy, I know. It's going to be it would probably have to be against my proper team and not my Blueberry Academy team, because my Blueberry Academy team is literally just 4 Pokemon. What can you do to support me? Shiro is going to have to figure that out. Not that Masters have a whole lot they can do against Berserker. Even I would only drag Saber down if I got involved. Finds a shiny first. That wouldn't be fair since you have a charm. I don't have a charm. The only charm I have is the Terra charm and the catching charm for more Terra shards and more critical captures. I do not have the shiny charm. No, I don't think I swore at you. I'm sort of juggling between chat and the story, so my words might get a little bit mixed. I do not have the shiny charm now. But we don't just have the option to let even one person be idle right now. I know very well that Saber will disappear if Shiro dies, but we're going to have to risk it. This whole battles is a gamble to begin with. Oh, J6 said to fight. No, he said LMAO. LMAO. He didn't swear at him. Andy, are you okay? That is true, but... Saber makes a face and falls silent. Since Tosaka's gone quiet too, she must understand how reckless her proposal is. I can't blame them for being worried. The night I met Saber, the night Berserker attacked, the only thing I managed to use to defend her was my own body. There's a strong possibility that we're headed towards a repeat of what happened that night. So while it may be for the best for me to distance myself from the battlefield, I'm not going to do so unless they force me to. I know. I'll try to think of something to support from a distance. Huh? Was that really much of a surprise? You're gonna use VGC, gonna adjust what you're planning. I just have to support Saber from a distance, right? I'll come up with something. I grabbed the tree branches I gathered earlier as I say that. They're just the right length and the exact right kind of flexibility. This is the first time I've done this kind of strengthening, but I don't think I'm wrong in principle here. Basically, I just need to layer my strengthening until it turns into something substantial. Besides, he had something like this, so I can use that as a reference. On top of that, magical energy has been flowing through my body for a while now. All I have to do is repeat my usual process. I analyze the basic structure and change it. I analyze the material's composition and reinforce it. Starting from the branch, my result should be his bow, but something's missing. I need to think of this from the standpoint of creation. If I want to make something as close as possible to the real thing, I need to envision everything about it I can, down to the smallest detail. I opened my eyes. The warped branch was the right shape, but something wasn't. Crap, it's not even close. That is better than just a tree branch, Shiro. Like, seriously, that is so much better than a tree branch. The fact that you made so much progress, despite not getting into projection magecraft in this route, it seems, is so incredible. It's ugly, distorted. And yet, I can tell it will work fine as a bow. Now I just have to create an arrow following the same concept. You just... Yeah, I think I got the hang of it after the incident with Shinji. You said it yourself. Don't strain myself. I see. Well, it's good you have some means to attack, so I won't say anything else. Back to our original topic. So you two will fight Berserker. I'll climb a tree before everything starts and watch from above. And once Saber's created an opening, I'll skewer Berserker from above, which should be his blind spot, with all my gems. That's all there is to our plan. It's pretty simple. Tosaka turns her attention to us, checking whether we have any questions. You know, logically speaking, the better option would be to take out Ilya. Just saying. Gems. Is that your magecraft, Rin? Even if all this were to work, no amount of half-baked magecraft would reach Berserker's body. If we are to harm him, we'll need an attack of truly surpassing power. I know that. You're saying that we attack You are saying we an attack that's... Game. You're missing a word there. Need. Translation team! As she says this, Tosaka pulls several jewels from her pocket. What are these jewels? Think of it like my life savings. A single one can immediately activate into a greater magecraft at rank A. I had 10 of these, but I used one on you. I see. If it's of the same caliber of magecraft, then I can say for sure Berserker will not be able to defend himself. He doesn't have magic resistance like I do. Even if it's magecraft, an A rank should definitely pierce his defenses. Exactly. I thought of starting with small batches, but we can't afford to take that much time. I'm thinking of giving Berserker 2 or 3 of these. Tosaka puffs out her chest confidently. However... Hey, aren't you being a little stingy? I agree. It may not be my place to say, but I believe under the circumstances, you should use at least half of your stock. Why would you say that? That's not your call. You guys don't understand how hard it was to save all this up. Saber and I protest silently. Tosaka's life depends on this operation too. We can't let ourselves fail just because she's being stingy. Fine, just half, right? Just half. Oh, come on, I've kind of been wanting to say that. I know what's at stake here. Anyway, that's our plan. All I have to do now is find a place for me to hide and spot for Shiro to support Saber. We should get set up before Ilya's Veil gets here. Yeah, we can't stay in these ruins any longer. And like Tosaka said, we need to find a place where we can all lie in wait for Berserker. But before that... Oh. Save point. We'll save here, I think. Yeah, this is not overwriting anything. I don't think. No, it's not overwriting anything. Okay. So, this one is a very easy choice. We are on the Fate route. So, we should be worried about Saber. No deliberation. I wonder if Saber's really okay. She says she has no problems fighting, but wouldn't it be hard for her to go up against Berserker when she's so weak? Wow. Drink. Or, I suppose, I'm more concerned about her noble phantasm. I will not be able to maintain my body if I use it. Yes, we've established Shiro is kind of sexist. That's what Saber said. That means Saber will disappear the instant she uses that attack. Yes, what is it, Shiro? Before we go out to fight, can you promise me one thing? Yes, as long as it's something I can do. Oh, I forgot to check the flowchart. Have I missed any branching topics back here? No, I've not missed any branches. And this was indeed Saber Affection Up. Okay, well, yeah, I don't want you to use her noble phantasm, no matter what happens. It's important, and I don't want you to die, even if it means we defeat Berserker. Yes, I understand. I do not intend to use my noble phantasm either. I do not think I will be able to defeat Berserker with the amount of magical energy I have, and more importantly, I will be unable to obtain the Holy Grail if I disappear. She's as direct as ever. It's a relief to hear. Okay. Yeah, that's the Saber I know. It's good to hear you being so insanely calm. Gotta keep getting drinks of water. I don't know why, but my throat is just, like, parched. And what do you mean by that, Shiro? Nothing at all. Let's just get going. Tosaka will get upset again if we keep her waiting. Yes, it appears complaining to you has become something of a hobby of hers. Complaining to you? I'd say that's more complaining about you, but maybe to you still could work in this context, I guess. And with that kind of weird observation, Saber turns and leaves the ruins. But then, she trips on a chunk of rubble and stumbles forward. Oh. I quickly grab her from behind. Come on, watch your step. You'll need to be careful in this mess. Saber seems to be blushing. Did she do this on purpose? Saber, what's wrong? Did something happen? No, it is nothing, but if you hold my hand like that, Saber's face turns a deep crimson. She must look like I did a few minutes ago. Ah, I find myself blushing too now. With her hand in mine, I suddenly remember the sensations I felt with Saber and quickly pull my hand back. Yeah, so much of this dialogue just does not make sense if all they did was fall asleep on top of each other. So much of this dialogue just doesn't make sense. They needed to rewrite so much more than just that scene. The two of us stand rigidly, not saying nothing. But let's head out. We'd better get moving. We don't have much time. Yes, let's hurry, Shiro. I know, hand-holding, J6. They put that kind of stuff in this game, but they took out the H scene. Tisk, tisk, tisk. We head out after that bit of awkwardness. Once we're outside, we'll never come back here. I look back toward the ruin for the last time and then turn back to the battlefield. Okay, and again, that line would really have no significance if all they did was, feed Saber some of Shiro's magic circuits, which in itself does not make any sense. Like, that just doesn't make any sense from a standpoint of the game. Maybe that's how it is in the original VN as well with the scene, and it's all just sort of a conduit and not just straight mana transfer like the meme is, but there's so much more rework that needs to be done. Excuse me. Rather than Like, so much of the dialogue needed to be reworked for this. The sun is rising and a white layer of morning mist blankets the forest. Compared to the much denser forest around us, this is a good vantage point. This place doesn't seem bad. Yes, it meets most of our conditions, but it might actually be too open. I should be able to escape, but it might be tough for you and Saber. Tosaka is such a perfectionist, if she's even considering escape routes. Let's try somewhere else. We still have some time. Tosaka returns to the forest. But Saber stands motionless, staring off into the distance. What are you doing? We need to hurry or else Ilia's Veil's going to... She's here! A chill runs up my spine. I could never forget this feeling. I can't see him or feel his presence, but the sudden weight of air pressing down around me is definitely coming from him. I found you. Ilia's voice echoes from somewhere in the forest. Beyond the mist, from deeper in the forest, a dark figure approaches. Wait right there. I'm coming to kill you. Maybe it's because we're in a clearing with an open view of the sky, but it feels like Ilia is peeking down at us from up in the clouds. Crap, did she find Shiro already? This isn't good. This place is too wide open. And how fast is she? We have less than 2 minutes until she... Hey, what are you two waiting for? I keep telling you this is a bad spot. We need to get somewhere else. Fast. Tosaka grabs our hands, but it's too late. No, this is fine, Tosaka. We're lucky enough that the three of us are able to fight together. We can't ask for anything more. You dummy. That's exactly the problem. It's way too open here. Saber can't handle Berserker alone, and you can't get out of range to support her here. Now, I know you're concerned for me, but we're all in danger here. Besides, we can't escape now anyway. That's true, but... Are you ready, Saber? We're fighting Berserker here. Saber nods quietly. Oh, come on. Fine, I'll be real ticked off if you two get thrashed. Tosaka, apparently convinced, disappears into the mist. Once she goes into action, she acts quickly. She darts into the forest and then scrambles up a tree. That is like such a bad idea. They're coming, Saber. You ready? I should ask you the same. Once the battle begins, please do not move past this point. I will not let Berserker near this spot. Also, J6, I think Andy left before you could say, before you could get your synchro message in, which I don't know what that means. The mist wavers. Ooh, that's an intimidating sight. Out of the morning fog, a dark shadow spreads across the clearing. A mad warrior led by a pale girl steps into view. This is a surprise. I thought you were going to flee until the end. Or have you given up, brother? Ilia's about 40 meters from me. We face each other from opposite ends of the clearing. Oh, so Saber got better. That must be why you stopped running. What a shame. It's cute that you think it'll be enough to beat me, though. Sorry, you're going to die here. Her giggles re-echo in the forest. Apparently, that ticks her off. Saber, still standing beside me, is practically vibrating with animosity. She might launch herself forward at any moment. Oh, you're all quiet now. You're so boring. Are you scared of dying? What a waste. If you beg for your life, maybe I'll consider sparing you. Tosaka's probably in position. She'll probably want to be as close as to the center of the clearing as she can. There's a spot where the tree branches overlap. It should be sturdy enough to support her weight. I see, so that's how it's going to be. Enough chatter then. I'll kill you and Rin... Wait, where's Rin, Shiro? I have to give it to Berserker's master. She knows better than to overlook any details. Tosaka's gone. We stopped working together a while ago. So you two split up? That figures. You and Saber could only drag her down. She should be able to do pretty well on her own. Well, there you go. She's probably out of the force by now. I doubt you'll catch up to her, even if you go after her right now. Oh, you think so? This forest is an Einsburn-bounded field. I always know the instant someone enters or leaves. Nobody's left, so Rin's still in the forest. I have plenty of time to deal with her once I've taken care of you. That's a relief. If Ilya only detects who's going in and out of the forest, then she doesn't know where Tosaka is now. True, that is good to know. That, and she believed my story pretty easily. Ilya is a truly merciless master. But is she too merciless to have a chance to start over? Before we fight, there's something I want to ask you. Why do you keep calling me brother? Would you consider quitting being a master and ending this battle? Shiro, you really need to get your priorities straight. She keeps calling you brother, dude. Clearly, there's some bigger story going on here. I can't. This is grandfather's command. As long as Berserker's around, I'm a master of the Ainsburns. I need to kill other masters and bring home the Holy Grail. But I'm the one who should be asking you a question. I'm the head of the Ainsburn household, so I'm not going to repeat what I said earlier, but I might reconsider if you're willing to change your answer. She sounds almost hopeful. But as long as I have Saber with me, I can't agree to what she's asking. My answer is unchanged. I'm Saber's master. If you're not going to quit being a master, I'll defeat Berserker and make you quit. I look at both Ilya and Berserker and say that. In that instant, the air in the clearing tenses with a sharp, snapping sound. I see. Then, I'm going to kill you now. I'm going to annihilate you, right down to that conceited head of yours. What the heck is that? There's some sort of inscription appearing on Ilya's face. No, it's not just her face. It's a huge command spell covering her entire body. I can't even see it at this. I can even see it at this distance. It's so much more massive than the ones we have. Playtime's over. Trample them, Heracles. Ilya's voice is completely lifeless, and in response, the giant behind her howls. Thank you for making the noise for me. His roar shakes the earth. He screams and thrashes like he's lost his mind. His abilities grown even more powerful, like his body is swelling with deformed masses. It's impossible. Was she only depriving him of reason rather than letting him go berserk? Not surprised Saber is shuddering. Even I, who can't gauge the warrior's strength, can tell I shouldn't be getting anywhere near that monster. Go. Kill everything you see, Berserker. I like how even the exclamation points are blacked out. The air explodes. The giant bellows a roar so different from its anguished wail, and leaps. The streak of silver surges forward in answer. Berserker lands in the middle of the clearing. The earth shakes. Saber intercepts Berserker as if stopping a falling meteor. I like the music. It's like watching a mythical battle unfolding in front of me. In a forest shrouded by morning mist, two shadows clash relentlessly. Berserker is simply overwhelming. Have they? I thought it sounded familiar. Berserker's swipes are like whirlwinds, his downward strikes like waterfalls. Even Saber wouldn't survive a direct hit. But Saber deflects his every attack without faltering or hesitating. She swipes aside the barrage of strikes raining on her like a raging storm. To fail would mean being cut down on the spot. By the way, J6, are you doing the Lotto event? If so, how are you doing with it? To Saber, each of the rapid blows seems to strike with her opponent's full might. You're not fair. The clash of swords echoes around the clearing. Berserker has greater reach. Berserker is faster. Berserker has more stamina. All Saber can do is parry the titanic surges of wind from Berserker's swings to mitigate the sheer strength, all just to avoid being cut in half. Berserker is like a broken jackhammer. His blade spins in all directions, annihilating everything in its path. Just getting in his reach could only be fatal. There would be no hopes of escaping. They'd be caught in that whirling blade and ground to dust. No normal human would have a chance against that. And if getting close can only mean death, then the only option is fleeing. But Saber steps into the whirlwind and doesn't retreat. She'll be shredded to pieces. The sword sparks off her, slowly chipping her armor away. Standing in the middle of that vortex, she could be dead in a heartbeat. Dot dot dot. I can only hold my breath. In ancient times, heroes fought against dragons and demonic beasts. Must have been all like this, like her. They know perfectly well how vast the gap in strength between them is. But they bet everything on a once in a 1 in a million shot. I almost said once in a lifetime. A seething mass of violence beyond anything humans are capable of. They just defend until a single opportunity presents itself. Many warriors died without ever seeing the miracle they were waiting for. That's exactly what this battle is. It is a glamorous, eye-catching battle, but it only ends one way, with Saber's defeat. Each blow chips away at her more. Berserker's roar shakes the ground. The sheer whirlwind of his frenzy churns up the atmosphere and sends Saber flying as she tries to defend. Every time Berserker's attacks chip away a bit more of Saber's armor, she's thrown to the ground, but instead of remaining down or on her knees, Saber charges right back at Berserker every time. But she's at her limit. Saber's breathing is labored, and her movements are visibly slowing. There won't be any opening. In a few moments, Berserker's titanic weapon will shatter Saber's sword. I grip the bow I made. I'm going to... Oh! Over right here. Okay. So... I want to check something. Okay. Okay. So this might be a dead-end choice. This might be a dead-end choice, because something I've noticed, going back in the flowchart, is that dead-end choices always have just 2 green arrows. They never have, like, an affection mark with them. Sometimes the option I pick doesn't lead to a dead end, mind you, and sometimes they just seem to be inconsequential choices, but a green choice tends to always have a dead end associated with it. And I think this is one of those choices. So, we have the bow that Shiro made. We know, completely out of character, they know in character, the bow is not going to do absolutely anything at all. It is going to do nothing. Not going to cause any damage. It's probably not even going to be acknowledged by Berserker. And if it does get his acknowledgement, then it will just result in him being swatted aside like the insect he is compared to Berserker. So that does make me think that what will that do is the choice that will get him to live for a little longer. And that the death option here will be to shoot the bow. And since I am on a quest, A rank. They specify it's A rank in this. Maybe it's different elsewhere, but they specify it in this. It needs to be at least A rank attack potency to cause harm. Anyways, the bow is not going to do jack shit to him. It's going to make Shiro a pest, and it might get Shiro to have, B rank to scratch. Gotcha. But it also might get Shiro just eviscerated because Berserker's treating him as a fly. And I want to see all the bad ends. So, Shiro, it's time to die. Pew pew! The moment Saber goes flying, I fire at Berserker. This won't hurt him, but it should at least get his attention. which is like the worst thing you can do against this mountain of a monster. The arrow hits Berserker squarely on the temple, but it doesn't even leave a scratch. I can't even get his attention. Doesn't even get his attention. That's hilarious. I'm sorry, but that's great. All that hype of, oh, it's going to get his attention and get Shiro eviscerated. It does nothing. The giant doesn't block the arrow. He doesn't even seem to care. That's right, Berserker. Leave Shiro alone. You can do whatever you want with him after you kill Saber. Ilya's laugh echoes through the forest. Echo, echo, echo. Damn. I can't do anything. Maybe this is just a choice that has absolutely zero impact then. Saber's about to collapse right in front of me, but I can't do anything. I'm powerless. No matter what I do, I can't hurt Berserker, and I'm just distracting Saber. Oh, maybe that's what this is about. Maybe this is some character growth for Shiro, where he realizes that, once again, the fact that he's a dude means nothing in the context of this fight. A slash. Saber sinks into the ground all the way to her ankles. As she parries a massive blow, the parrying blade is swift, but heavy. The axe sword strikes down from overhead. The brutally powerful weapon grazes Saber's armor as she dodges, then tears up the earth itself. My jaws clenched so hard my teeth could well shatter. Well, don't shatter them then, dude. Easy fix, man. Is there really nothing I can do? I can't protect Saber. I can't fight alongside her. Yeah, this kind of seeming kind of hopeless, ain't it? There's nothing I can do. All I can do is... Then at least imagine it. Imagination! It's all you can really do. ... Archer said something like that. You don't need an enemy. The only opponent you need to fight is your own mind. Yeah, what was he saying again? It wasn't one of his typical snide remarks. What he said had weight and importance to it, and I needed to understand. Then again, probably everything he told me was a warning I shouldn't ignore. Excuse me. Saber goes flying. This time it's not because she leaped away to evade. Berserker hit her this time. That hurricane slash strikes Saber in the side. She stumbles. Wow, her armor looks remarkably intact. Coughing violently, she grips her weapon tighter and turns back toward Berserker. The giant doesn't miss the opening Saber finally provides. Stop! My voice doesn't reach them. Shouting is useless, and trying to use the bow like Archer would be pointless. Don't I understand yet? What can I do? What should these hands of mine be doing? That's right. What do I need to do to save Saber? I can't use a bow. A sword won't pierce him. Having a weapon just like the enemy's is no solution either. To go up against that giant, a sword cut through a mountain of stone. An opulent sword, sharper than sharp, that will never dull. A king's sword able to cut down enemies in a single blow. Like that golden sword I saw in my dream. A sword fit for her. My head hurts. I try to fight down my nausea, but I never take my eyes off Saber. Strangely, the longer I watch Saber fall, the more indescribable pain assaults me. Saber and Berserker seem to be moving in slow motion. She's not in the air. Just saying. I see a row of switches line up. Red dialogue, oh no! Saber coughs, and for a brief second she arches in pain. Berserker smashes his axe sword down toward her with all his might. It's as if there's a row of nails in need of hammering down. It's like he's knocking down dominoes. The switch flips. Berserker's axe sword cuts Saber down. She's going to die. The strike splits Saber in half at the waist, and pieces of her flesh go flying. Maybe this was the bad end. No, that's not what's happening. The only thing that's gone flying is pieces of armor. Berserker's only split Saber's armor. Saber left herself open to Berserker into a single huge swing, and with every ounce of strength she has, she rushes at him. A black roar rips through the air, but he can't escape now. Saber is right in front of him. She shifts her grip on her sword and darts in closer, then swings with all her might. I don't believe this. Saber's attack hits home, and the giant, who seemed so movable, flies back several meters. Then... Get back, Saber. Yeah, I know. He must... I don't think, to be honest, I don't think Berserker has good dental hygiene. So maybe it's just the pure stench of bad dental hygiene from not brushing his teeth in the many months since he was summoned for the Grail War. That could be the reason. Then comes the true attack. She must intend to release the attack from as close as possible. Tosaka jumps down from the branches above and throws her jewels at Berserker as she falls, which means that his dental hygiene is even worse. It's conceptualized in his spirit origin. That's what it is. Thank you for pronouncing that for me, game. Shards of ice rain on Berserker. Among those shards are 3 giant spear-shaped icicles, each packed with enough magical energy to blow an entire mansion to smithereens. No, dodge it, Berserker. Elia, quiet until now, suddenly screams at her servant. She must have sensed the danger, but too late. The ice spears aren't falling. They're accelerating towards Berserker. He can't possibly dodge. A 1 in a million opportunity. Saber's desperate attack perfectly coordinated with the Ice Bolt's attack. It has more than enough magic energy to kill a Berserker. However... the axe sword slices through the air. Even as Saber drives him back, he switches to a single-handed grip on his axe sword and shatters all 3 ice spears. Blood spatters the clearing. Maybe it's his one-arm swing, but he fails to completely destroy the ice. And when it strikes, it severs one of Berserker's arms. Shiro, graft that arm onto your own body. I'm sure it will be fine. That's not all. The ice freezes over Berserker's arm completely, restraining it. But it only got one arm. Saber cries out. It's a reasonable response. Berserker catches Tosaka with his good arm as she falls. Ooh. Tosaka's face twists in pain. Berserker will have no trouble crushing Tosaka with his hand, so she cut off his right arm. I run. I don't care if I drag them down. It doesn't matter if I can't do anything. I'm not going to let Tosaka die. Saber must be too weak to even stand, but somehow she gets to her feet. Tosaka must be in agonizing pain, but she stretches a hand out as she hangs her head downward. And then... the other 3 gems! Just as I thought. She grins wickedly. That's 4 gems! Everyone gasps. Saber, me, and even Berserker must fall frozen in our tracks. One person can only have so many tricks up their sleeves. She knew this might happen and hadn't even bothered to tell us. Berserker squeezes harder around her. He's a heartbeat too late. Four bullets of pure light streak toward Berserker. 4 bullets. 4 gems. 4 rapid shots at the most extreme close range. That has to be enough to end the dark, mad warrior. Or rather, the attack perfectly, completely snuffs out his life. It must have blown Berserker's head clean off. True. Deceive your enemy to... You know, I gotta admit, the fact that Rin is able to eliminate one of Berserker's lives is impressive. It's impressive enough for a mage of modern era to kill one of Berserker's lives without the bullshit of having a heroic spirit arm grafted onto your body, or having a fragment of the Grail inhabited by a massive evil god that is on the verge of becoming a beast. It's impressive. The blood splatter even reaches me, 10 meters from where Berserker stands. There's kind of a lot more blood in the mess, but I don't think she overdid it. Her opponent was a monster. Berserker would have crushed Tosaka if she hadn't blown his head off. I slow my frantic run. Tosaka's still in Berserker's grip, but the battle's over. Berserker's face is still hidden in a plume of smoke. From that singing sound, it must have been a hell of an explode. No way. I hear Tosaka's voice. She's looking at the smoke in disbelief. Oh, never mind. Hold on. Am I imagining things? Did Berserker's hand tighten on Tosaka? Tosaka's staring at the plume of smoke. It doesn't last long. The smoke starts to dissipate. And the clearing air... Ooh, that's metal. Berserker's face, the face that should have been blown off his body, appears. That's pretty hardcore looking. Tosaka cowers under that evil demon's gaze, at a loss for words. Laughter fills the air. Ilya, who's remained at the far side of the clearing, laughs delightedly. I see you in a new light, Rin. I didn't think you could possibly have killed Berserker, even once. But too bad. Berserker won't disappear that easily. You see, he can't die unless he's killed 12 times. Oh, she did get a kill in. Nice. Killed 12 times. She must have figured something out from what Ilya just told her. Tosaka looks aghast, her face twisting in regret. I get it. I should have figured it out as soon as I learned his true name. Heracles should have the bow of the Hydra, but his only weapon was a rock. His noble phantasm isn't an object he's carrying. The symbol for the hero Heracles is. That's right. His body itself is his noble phantasm. You should know about Heracles' 12 labors. The Greek hero Heracles overcame 12 monumental tasks to atone for his sins, and his reward was immortality. You know exactly what that means, don't you? Stockpile of lives. Layers of resurrection magecraft. Yep, that's why he can't die easily. He possesses the curse of immortality given by the gods so that he can endure the same number of trials or deaths he once overcame. That's my Berserker's noble phantasm. Well, she said it for me at the right time. Understand, you killed Berserker there, but he still has 5 lives left. So something must have taken a life from him earlier on. But servant data updated, Berserker... Yeah, we've already seen all this. It's just his noble phantasm. Why are both here? No, it said Archer only took 5 of his lives. It said earlier that Archer only took 5, so... These are the exact... Oh, no, wait, no. Nullifies all attacks ranked B or lower. This is different. It's just ranked the exact same. God Hand, 12 labors, rank B. Anti-personnel, max target of 1 person. A hidden ability becomes automatically resurrected, raise, in the event one dies. Raise has a stock of 11. In other words, Berserker will not disappear unless he's defeated 12 times. Unless they're not counting his... Maybe they're only talking extra lives? Maybe they're only talking about the extra lives Berserker has. I don't think so. In the first fight, Saber got stomped. No, I don't think Saber took a life off of him back then. You're so close, Rin. Berserk would have disappeared if you'd only used 5 times the jewels you just did. I can't hear Ilya's voice clearly. From the corner of my eye, I see Saber charging Berserker. Rin, run. She is literally in Heracles' grip, Saber. You You're smarter than that. Tosaka tries to pry open Berserker's fingers, but they won't budge. And then... That's okay, Berserker. Crush her. The burning eyes glare at Tosaka. That was a very short scream. Tosaka screams. Berserker's enormous fingers dig into Tosaka, trying to rip out her insides. He's like taking his time on this. One good squeeze should have popped her like a grape. There's only one outcome. Tosaka's lifeless body being crushed to nothing. I run. I forget who I'm up against. I even forget where I am. My mind is completely burned out. I will not allow it. Saber cuts towards Berserker. Her invisible sword swings at Berserker's defenseless arm as if slicing through a radish. Why a radish? But it's no use. Saber's attack pings harmlessly off Berserker's arm. His grip on Tosaka doesn't loosen. Just moving must be agony for Saber. She swings her sword desperately, blood trickling from her mouth. Shiro. She freezes the instant she sees me rushing at Berserker. Let go of her, you bastard. I slap mindlessly at his back with my bow. The giant is unfazed, as it should be. He doesn't consider me a threat. My fingers are getting numb. What the hell is he if I'm the one going numb from hitting him? Run, Shiro. I look up when I hear Saber. Just got donkey kicked. In that instant, I go flying through the air like a leaf. I hit the ground and tumble like a bit of stray garbage. Berserker smacked me away with that frozen sword. How? He does not have 3 arms. One of his arms was completely severed and frozen over. Unless he somehow reattached it, and in his other hand is Tosaka. He does not, but they didn't say he regrew his arm is the thing. I try to block the attack with my bow, but it shatters instantly and I'm thrown so far away. Yeah, they don't say that, yeah, he regrew his arm too. I writhe in pain. That breaking sound hadn't come from the bow. One of my arms is bent at the wrong angle, in the wrong spot. When I breathe in, my lungs hurt so bad I want to puke them up. I suppose that makes sense. I can't breathe properly with all the blood flooding my mouth, but that doesn't matter. Breathing will just make me pass out. Better that I not breathe. I wake up. Right now I need to get to him. Him! I run. It's my turn. I'm going to break his arm and save Tosaka. He must have eyes in the back of his head. He swings his sword casually as if he's batting aside a fly. I can dodge it. I won't let an arm that's been completely frozen hit me so easy. Okay! The arm is still frozen, yet it was separated. So did it just, like, magically fly up and reattach? It didn't regrow, it reattached itself. That's something that bears emphasizing. Damn, my body's sinking. He must have grazed my leg. Damn him, he didn't even touch my leg, but he somehow managed to break it anyway. Ridiculous, this is enough. Stay back, Master. I can't do that. I can't let Tosaka die. What do I need to do to save her? A weapon. A blade would be best. At my feet, broken pieces of the bow. Above me, Berserker's sword swinging right at me. There was no time to think. I let magical energy flow through me. The strengthening succeeds easily, but down comes Berserker's sword. The fragments are finally pulverized. I meant to dodge, but instead my body gets slammed to the ground. Clearly there was no point in strengthening broken shards. I'll have to do this from scratch. Excuse me. It shouldn't be impossible. Anyone can imitate as long as they have an example to follow. I just need to duplicate the foundation, structure, work, experience, time, and... The giant turns around. It must have decided to kill the little nuisance before finishing Tosaka off. I push up from the ground and glare at the giant. There's no fear. I'm too burned out for fear. But behind me... She's unsheathed her blade. I see someone prepared to disappear. I see someone determined to use the sacred sword. Save. Okay, this... that feels like a bad end. That right there, the fact that there is a higher up branch, despite the middling branch here, that tells me this is a bad end. I'm actually going to confirm something. So, higher branch, higher branch. Okay, that's kind of different, but it's because, okay. I think I'm starting to see the way that you can predict when a bad end is about to happen. I think I had one. Yep, higher branch. Okay. This one had a higher branch as well. Interesting. So maybe I missed a bad end back there, but higher branch, higher branch. So it seems like if there is a higher branch choice, it might very well lead to a bad end. So, our choices here are Saber using Excalibur or not speaking up and letting Saber use Excalibur. The thing is, we are literally right in the line of sight for Excalibur, as is Rin. And it's kind of been confirmed that using Excalibur won't be enough to finish Heracles off with the current amount of magical energy. So, is it really our choice? Is ironic, because this is a choice. And I think letting Saber use Excalibur here is the bad choice. The golden sword appears in Saber's hands. Berserker's grip on Tosaka tightens. I'm powerless. I'm going to let all three of us die. Is that really our only option? Is our only chance at victory using up the last of Saber's magical energy for her noble phantasm and so endangering her existence? The giant releases Tosaka and charges at Saber. Well, at least Rin's not going to die from an Excalibur blast to the face. He meets the sacred sword as it sweeps the earth ahead of it. You know, Shiro is still right in that path. Unless she's angling her shot. That's Caliburn, though. We don't have Saber Lily here. The silver armor collapses. Saber falls to her knees, having converted the last of her magical energy into light. In front of her, Berserker remains intact. That's the end for you, Saber. Even the mighty secret sword isn't strung with such a pathetic amount of magical energy. Saber's starting to fade. She must not even have the strength to stand. Unable to rise, she looks up at Berserker. You must be disappointed too, Berserker. If only Saber had been at full power, you might have had a chance to die. The giant sword swings down. Berserker doesn't wait for Saber to disappear. He crushes her. Oh, that's brutal! Saber disappears. I knew this would happen. If Saber used her sacred sword, she would disappear no matter the outcome of the battle. I knew, but I didn't stop her. It's all over. So now what will you do, brother? Will you try to run away, or will you just let me kill you? Oh, I know. If you say you'll let me kill me. If you say you'll let me kill you, I'll let Rin go. I can't even think. Saber's corpse is right in front of me. It's already become one with the earth. I can't escape. If I can't escape no matter what I do, at least... Good boy, Shiro. Bring him to me, Berserker. Make sure he can't run away. There goes his legs. Oh, everything below the waist. Oh, that's... You know, that's just gonna kill him quicker. Ilya wants him alive for some torture, I'm sure. A rustle of wind obliterates everything below my waist. My senses are utterly overwhelmed with pain and despair. I'm fading. In the middle of the clearing, Tosaka's body is sprawled on the ground, long having since gone motionless. She was already dead. Poor Rin. So I wonder if there's no... does Rin actually die in this route then? Because I can't see any way of her surviving this. Seek advice from the dojo. Hi there. This is Tiger Dojo, the training area that saves you people who fell straight into cat hell because you made a trivial mistake. Yes, ma'am. I'm disciple number 1, pumped up and in the groove now. Cat and heaven. Why would you take a swing at me, Tiger? Did I do something bad? You shut your mouth. This is the 8th episode of the Tiger Dojo and you've killed Shiro 5 times now. Yeah, that's true. Oh, man. Shiro just loves getting killed by Ilya, doesn't he? Or is it the other way around? It's mass murder. What? I don't think it's that bad. I mean, he didn't die one of those times. I mean, by the end, the one who kills Shiro most is... Stop right there. Eat my spoiler sword. It's not gonna get me. Besides, I'm at the bottom of the list. See? Take a look at this notebook. Revenge Review Ilya. Wait, what was that? Assassination Manual. I didn't know there was an actual list of killers floating around. Oh, what the... You're right, with all these absurd fabricated records. Why does Ilya get the good girl award? Because I carry myself elegantly. If you're bored, check out all the endings where I kill Shiro. You'll notice it's slightly different than the winner of the last kill award. Slightly different. Well, I guess I'm not going to dwell on the details. Thinking hurts anyway. Okay, so in this episode of Tiger Dojo, I don't think you made any bad choices, but why do you think it ended up like this? Answer, disciple number 1. You ran out of magical energy. Saber had recovered to the point where she could deploy Excalibur, but there just wasn't enough magical energy to use her noble phantasm. A weakened Excalibur like that couldn't possibly wipe out Berserker's 2 lives. Five lives. That's a very egregious mistake there. I see. So this time around you lost because you made a sensible choice. Yes, ma'am. You'll die if you go on the defensive, but you'll also die if you try to get too aggressive. What a crazy tightrope you're walking. It's a delicate balancing act, as usual. Delicate may not be the best way to describe it. It's more like there's nothing you can do given the character's abilities. Is that so, meow? Then this concludes this episode of the dojo. Go back to the previous choice and choose the more reckless, youthful, and immature option. Yeah, restart for the most recent decision point, and tell Saber not to use it. Tosaka's dead anyway. Wind peels back from the blade. The golden sword begins to reveal itself in Saber's hand. I told her not to use it. The sword I told her to never use, no matter what. I snap. The last thread that had been holding me together finally gives. Don't use it, Saber. Oh, command spell. My left hand burns. A command spell stroke disappears. Why? We have no other choice, Shiro. I don't care. To hell with that. All I know is that if she uses it, she'll disappear. You are already on your last legs just from unleashing your sword. You can't use it right now. So just hold on. If you can't use your sword, I'll make you one you can use. Now, at least imagine it. If you can't possibly beat the opponent in reality, then beat them in your imagination. If you can't win yourself, imagine something that can win. It's so obvious. It's the only thing I can do. I have to make it. I have to make something that won't lose. I have to imagine the strongest weapon. I have to imagine the ultimate imitation. It has to fool everyone, even me. It shouldn't be that hard. It's not something impossible. Since the beginning, my body has been a specialized magic circuit for this purpose alone. This shouldn't be possible if he's about to project what I think he's about to project. Project Saber Sword achievement unlocked. I leap up. My entire body burns like it's on fire. My left hand is crimson. That sword is mine. Sierra's voice rings with shocked disbelief. She's staring at the weapon in my hands, at the thing that shouldn't exist. The sword seems to have a will of its own. The golden blade moves as if it's being drawn to the giant's arm, then slashes at him, tearing through the arm. Calipoke. Indeed. No, it's Calislash. Tozaka falls to the ground along with the arm that had been holding her. The golden sword shatters as if it had been made of glass. See, that shouldn't have worked. Yes, it was hollow, but, Shiro should not be able to project Excalibur or Caliburn. I'm pretty sure Caliburn is a Fey blade. Type Moon Wiki. Caliburn. It's a holy sword. Not as strong as Excalibur. Okay, maybe it is possible? I don't know. My blood begins to flow backward. It doesn't matter. The sword broke. That's impossible. If I imitated that sword, it shouldn't have shattered like that. It shattered because it wasn't sufficient. My image of the sword wasn't enough. Berserker's furious gaze turns toward me. His massive sword swings up at me. This time, he's determined to cut me in half. I mean, I saw the rank, but even still, Shiro should not be able to project Caliburn or Excalibur. I'm pretty sure that was Caliburn that he projected there. But even a facsimile of it should not be possible, because he's only able to project man-made items. Granted, Prillia is a bit of an exception, given that he's able to create two divine weapons, but Prillia Shiro is a different build from normal Shiro. I guess Miyu Shiro. I mean, he has Avalon in all the routes. And yet, that doesn't let him project Excalibur or Caliburn. It doesn't matter. Berserker, you're not my enemy right now. I'm only fighting against one person right now. The last one wasn't perfect. My image of it was flawed, so the sword that should have been invincible broke. If I'm to duplicate things, I need to work not on just their shape, but also their maker. I hear the others holding their breath. In front of me, I see the axe sword rushing toward me like an oncoming storm, and a half-formed sword ready to block it. In desperation, I try to use that sword to block the incoming blade. But that doesn't matter to me. Right now, I need to finish the blade to make it real. Another mistake. You're not fit for fighting, Shiro Emiya. Your battle is supposed to be a mental one, a fight against your own self. You know, Archer, I kind of wonder if you wanted Shiro to pick a fight with you with those kinds of words. You don't have to remind me. What I need to do is simple. Projection, start. I concentrate. I'm challenging my own self. There can be neither deviation nor compromise. Determining creation ideology, anticipating base essence, duplicating material structure, replicating the forger's skill, resonating with the possessor's experience, imitating the uncountable years, and surpassing every manufacturing process. Shiro, you are not nearly bloody enough for that image. Illusion shall bind with reality to forge a sword. The giant roars. My sword deflects the countless gusts assailing me from the enemy's furious attacks. But that's about it. I'm knocked away from him. The moment I come to, the sword leaves everything to me. The attacks I blocked so easily a moment ago now toss me around effortlessly. I can't feel my arms. The skin of my wrists is blistered and red. I'm surprised I can even keep my grip on the sword. My legs do not work. I can only imagine every muscle shredded to ribbons. I can't get up. I made a sword that surpasses Berserker. Right. But that's all. I'm just the one who made it. I can't wield the sword I worked so hard to make. A shadow looms over me. He must know who he has to kill first now. I rush away and Berserker rushes after me like a gust of wind. His enormous sword swings toward me, but is deflected. In complete disbelief, I realize another hand is closed around my own. The air splits around me. The giant attacks with all his might, trying to destroy everything around him. But right before that happens... Shiro, your hand. She's so close I can hear her voice over the din. If Berserker is a storm front coming to attack me... There's the blood! Saber is a gale rushing to my side. Saber sprints over to me and twists around, gripping me firmly. The rock sword shatters. The golden flash explodes through the giant's axe sword and continues ahead, slicing through Berserker's rock-like body without slowing. Maybe I copied the form so well that I copied some of its abilities too. The golden sword lodges deep in Berserker's body and glows so brilliantly that light pours from the giant's body. And then, in an instant, the light fades and the forest falls silent. All the strength flees my limbs. The heat that had been surging through me rapidly cools. The sword I made begins to disappear. I watch it vacantly. Saber and I remain together, holding the sword in our hands until it's completely disappeared. I thought it was lodged in Berserker's body. Wind sweeps through the clearing. The earth-shaking howl and the blade that had churned up the very air are gone. So is that your blade, Saber? The previously invincible giant, now immobile, looks to the knight who defeated him and speaks in a low, rumbling voice. Oh! Huh. I don't think Berserker ever spoke in the other routes. This is Caliburn, the sword in the stone meant to select the king. It is my blade, and it was lost forever. However, it is not your sword anymore. It was merely an illusion that boy created. Saber nods quietly. An imitation, a blade that will never again exist. And yet, Berserker's chest opens up. He begins to dissolve. His body begins to crumble like wet sand, beginning where the sword pierced him, and rapidly expanding outward. But that illusion should not be underestimated. I never expected it could destroy me 7 times over in a single blow. His dying words are spoken without emotion. The mad warrior keeps to his role to the very end, and fades away in a dispersing haze into the misty morning air. 7 times over? That was overkill! Okay, so Shiro's projection is supercharged in the Fate timeline. Interesting. Dizziness rocks me where I stand. This is probably the price for such excessive use of magecraft. The blood that rages through me is putting pressure on my brain, sending far too much oxygen out to the rest of my body. My head feels like it could split open. The enemy has disappeared, and whatever was numbing the pain earlier has faded. As if to make me pay the accumulated toll of this incredible battle, the dizziness and headache crash into me like twin meteors. I'm about to collapse, but Saber supports me. Saber shouldn't have the energy for that either at this point. I'm fine. I've got a few broken bones, but nothing fatal. I've got that healing thing, and it's already kicking in, so I'll be fine. That is nonsense. Use projection magecraft to the extreme. You must rest right now. But there's someone I have to talk to first. Saber stands ready. Elia stares at where Berserker had been standing, her eyes hollow. Good. I do not know if there's a reason for her to remain here, but she has spared us the need to pursue her. She shall die, Grace. No, Saber. Don't hurt Berserk. Don't hurt Ilia. Without Berserker, she's... I stop Saber with the last remaining strength I have. Ilya doesn't even seem to notice we're here. She just stares at the ground. No way. Did you die, Berserker? She sounds like an abandoned child. Ilya lifts her head and absent-mindedly. It happens suddenly. Ilya collapses like a puppet with its strings cut. I don't know what happened. I just stare at Ilya where she lies. And at almost the same moment, Tosaka raises her hand. She's freed now that Berserker's arm disappeared. I must have loosened up the moment I learned Tosaka was safe. My vision blurs and I can feel my body trying to pass out. I can't show that kind of weakness. We may have defeated Berserker, but we're still in the forest. Wary as we are, we have to force ourselves to get out of the forest. I look up at the sky as it begins to lighten. The town is a long way away. All my allies are wounded and every single inch of me hurts. And yet, morning has come. We survived a night I was prepared to not. After defeating our greatest enemy, we leave the winter forest. Yeah, just leave Ilya passed out there on the ground. Why not? No save. No save yet. Okay. I think we're on day 12. Yep, day 12. Interval level 4. Weird. Duh. The sky was still pale gray. Was it dawn or dusk? It's hard to tell. The vast sky overhead and a wide field stretching out on all sides. The sky seemed close enough to touch. Clouds low enough to grab hold of. This was one of the battlefields she fought on. But there was no longer any cavalry in her service. The sprawling golden meadow was gone. Instead, unfolding under the dull sky, the Battle of Kamlan was the remnant of a battlefield. No emotion. She must have seen this kind of thing almost daily. Her desolate heart was empty. As she leaned against the golden sword, she exhaled deep and let her shoulders relax. The battle must have ended. After glancing over the bodies of the defeated soldiers, she returned to her camp. Oh no, this is not the Battle of Kamlan. This is just a battle where she decided to, slaughter everybody and kneel on a hill of corpses. Those were the battles she experienced. Her cold, calm demeanor remained unchanged. No matter the predicament she's been in, she remained just like the woman I've always known. And then I see the dream of a king. The moment she drew the sword, she stopped being human. She took over for her father as a feudal lord and became a king with many knights. She was known as King Arthur and Artoria. The life of the girl who once aspired to be the knight changed so radically. She acted like she was the king's son. The ruler of territories and knights had to be male. Only her father and the mage knew the king was female. She covered herself in iron and hid the truth from the rest of her life. There were those who had their suspicions, but the king of knights who wielded the sacred sword knew neither injury nor age. Excalibur was blessed with the protection of the fairies, making its possessor immortal. As such, nobody ever questioned her tiny frame, which was much too small for a knight, or her face, which might have appeared girlish. Instead, she was hailed as a truly beautiful king. And in fact, the king was invincible. Neither size nor appearance mattered. Those who lived in fear of the savage invaders desired a strong king, and the valiant knights would follow only a truly superior leader. The king satisfied each of these conditions, and so nobody questioned the king's identity. It did not matter if the king was a child or a woman. All that mattered was that the king protected the nation. The new king was fair and selfless, and always stood on the front line, fighting and defeating the nation's enemies on the battlefield. Many enemies and citizens died, but the king was always just, and she played her role as a king better than anyone else. There was no room to suspect otherwise, and any such suspicions would be pointless, while the king was right in any case. She knew no defeat on the battlefield. Her army reformed the lost cavalry, then charged across the battlefield, defeating foreign infantry and smashing through their defenses. Did she always stand on the front lines because her nation was behind her? Before she headed out to battle, she had to cast aside so many citizens. Once she was on the battlefield, she had to cut down all of her enemies. As her battles were fought in defense of her nation, it was common to wring villages dry to support the army. In that sense, no knight killed as many as she did. I can't tell if she ever really felt that burden. It's not something I can really know from a dream. But I do know she didn't have a moment's doubt or hesitation on the battlefield. Grief never touched her thoughts when she sat on the throne. A king is not human. Human emotions would make it impossible to protect people. She kept her oath, never wavering. She addressed the issues facing her nation, and she worked on matters of political concern. She ruled without wavering, and she punished the deserving without error. And after winning so many battles, unifying so many clans, and punishing hundreds of criminals, King Arthur does not have a human heart. She has a dragon one! One of the knights in her entourage murmured this. Everyone must have felt the same way. The more perfectly she carried herself as king, the more everyone questioned their monarch. There is no way someone devoid of human emotion can rule humans. Several reputable knights left the White Castle of Camelot, but the king accepted this as inevitable and incorporated it into her rule. And so the fair king, once so admired by her knights, began to isolate herself. Such trivialities were of no concern to the king. Even if she were deserted, feared, or betrayed, her heart would remain unchanged. It couldn't be helped. The moment she took that sword, she abandoned her emotions. And then her final battle began. The battle at Badon Hill, ending in a complete victory and that inescapable conclusion that led to the savage clans finally offering peace. And so the nation had been holding its breath, waiting to be destroyed, knew a moment of peace. The age of warfare where the nation leaned on a singular hero came to an end. Britain was finally going to become the nation she'd always dreamed of. The scene starts to fade away. I realize the dream is ending and I'm about to wake up. I can feel myself drifting closer to wakefulness. But before that happens, something really pisses me off. She's stupid. Oh, she's strong and a gifted fighter. But there's a difference between being good at fighting and being cut out for it. The people around her pissed me off too. She didn't notice. Someone else around her should have told her, or she would go on making the same mistake forever. Seriously, how the hell did she have so many people around her and not one told her the truth? Wow, damn, the sexism is back. I wake up. We escaped Ilia's forest and returned home yesterday afternoon. Tosaka went back to her room complaining her stomach hurt, and my headache wasn't getting any better, so we all decided to just go to sleep. It must have been the extra weight I was looking around. As soon as I got into bed, I couldn't get back up. Saber was the only one who seemed fine, and Tosaka and I left her to guard the house while we slept. And then... So I slept for half a day. At least my headache's gone. I'm relieved. The whole thing with Berserker, the headache I got after copying Saber's sword, was unreal. If I had kept up, my head might well have split down the middle. Then I notice. Saber's sitting on the floor right next to my head. Why are you glaring at me like that first thing in the morning? Did something happen while I was asleep? No, I simply had a dream. No, it's nothing. Let us have breakfast. It's time to wake up. Saber gets up and heads silently out of my room. What was that about? I don't know why Saber's acting strange. I'm not really sure, but... she was sitting by my bedside the whole time. Was she nursing me back to health? The moment I have that thought, the scene from last night comes back to me. What the hell am I thinking? I shake my head to rid myself of those impure thoughts. That night, my contact with Saber was entirely about my duty as a master. If I don't rationalize it like that, I'll never be able to look at Saber again. Calm thoughts, calm thoughts. We acted normal when we were coming home yesterday. That's all I needed to do. No, I was actually just tired yesterday, but I still need to act normal. Besides, Saber wouldn't like me acting like this. Okay, just need to calm down and make breakfast. I take a deep breath and get changed. It's 9 in the morning. Saber hasn't eaten since lunch yesterday, so she must be hungry. Casual time! 9 is so late it's practically not even morning anymore. As hungry as Saber must be, I should probably make a hearty breakfast. Is it just you and I this morning? Do we not need to wake Rin up? No, everyone's still asleep. Considering what happened yesterday, it's probably best to let them sleep. I'll leave their food out, and they can eat whatever they like. Oh. Using plurals here, so either more grammar errors or Ilia's here. I see. Then I would appreciate it if you prepared the meal quickly. It's much later than usual. I know. I feel better now, so let's head back to the dojo once we finish eating. The dojo? Do you intend to continue your training with me? Why not? It's our daily routine. What's wrong, Saber? Did I say something weird? Oh no, I just assumed we would no longer be training. With Berserker defeated, I thought there would be no further reason for you to continue training as we had been. I see. You know, you might be right. The common enemy we all share in Berserker is gone now. We teamed up to take on an enemy far stronger than us, and that's also why I trained so furiously in such a short time period. But I'd like to keep training. I'm still an untrained mage, and I get to see the real you when you wield a sword. That makes it easier for me to talk to you, too. Well, I say easy, but what I mean is that I kind of enjoy it. So I reveal my true self when I'm in the dojo. You sure do. At least you don't hold back. I prefer it that way. Besides, I think you get to loosen up as well. Anyway, our routine has become us sparring in the morning. Don't take the few pleasures I have. I take the round beef, pork, onions, green onions, mushrooms, onions, and eggs out of the refrigerator and head into the kitchen. All I need is panko, sake, and cooking oil. What are you making? Well, then I have no objections. Saber mumbles quietly to herself in the living room while I work. I can't quite hear what she's saying from the kitchen. Smack, smack, pound, pound. I mix onions, panko, sake, eggs, salt, and 400 grams of ground beef and pork, and knead it all together. I've decided to be bold today, so I'm making stewed Japanese-style Hamburg steak for breakfast. Rin, are you awake? Saber's voice drifts out from the living room. I glance back over my shoulder as I cook. Oh, she looks miserable. Morning. Hey, I'm gonna pour myself a cup of milk, Shiro. Tosaka comes in looking grumpy and grabs a carton of milk from the fridge. Slept too much. My head hurts. What's this? You're really going all out this morning, aren't you? Where'd that grumpy face she'd been making a second ago go? Her eyes are practically sparkling now. Oh, they look good. And here I was starting to get hungry. This is perfect. Is that so? Well, she's the one who gets to enjoy herself here, not me. Reminds me of what my old man used to say. Someone gains, someone else loses. I've thought this before, but you've got a keen eye. Well, I'm just a discerning sort. Looking forward to this breakfast you're making, though. She waves as she heads back to the living room. With a glass of milk in one hand, Tosaka plops down at the table. Seriously. I don't know where she gets off acting like king of the castle in my house. You are certainly lazy today, Rin. Yeah, way to go, Saber. She's saying everything I wish I could. However, Tosaka dismisses Saber's criticism nonchalantly by just agreeing with her. Of course I'm lazy now. With Berserker gone, now we just have to deal with Caster, Lancer, and Assassin. They're nothing compared to Berserker. Should be a cakewalk for Saber. Excuse me. You do not know that. Defeating Lancer and Assassin may not be as straightforward as you think. And we have yet to meet Caster. Don't be so humble. No ordinary heroic spirit is a match for King Arthur. You've solved your magical energy problem, so there is no servant who can best you now. Saber narrows her eyes at Tosaka. I have the same reaction. We shouldn't let what Tosaka said just go by. Do you know who Saber is? I had a hunch, but yesterday confirmed my suspicions. Only one hero can wield a sacred sword like that. Lots of heroes wield sacred swords, to be fair. I mean, I was a little surprised to learn that the legendary King Arthur was a girl, but I can't really argue against that since she's sitting right in front of me. Besides, legends are rewritten all the time, right? I don't know if Saber was the one who hid it, or if the people around her did, but I guess there was a problem with having a girl be king in medieval times. So I don't blame them for saying she was a man. Tosaka's tone remains the same. Saber at least doesn't seem to mind. If anything, she seems to agree with Tosaka. She certainly doesn't seem about to argue. She's basically acknowledged the fact. A hero with a connection to the sword is selected to be Saber's servant. Based on that alone, she would absolutely make for the best Saber. The heroic symbol of Britain. The wielder of a sacred sword so famous she's even known in this faraway land. But then, what of it? The legend of King Arthur ends with the king's death. Even heroes are still human. Their stories usually end in death, but no hero has a proper death. King Arthur was no exception. If I remember correctly, King Arthur died in battle, and the Great Battle of Camlan. After unifying Britain and supposedly having no more foreign enemies to defeat, King Arthur was drawn into conflict with an unexpected enemy in the end. It was the treachery of her own army, the knights she vowed to protect and fought alongside for so long, that led to King Arthur's death. King Arthur defeated the army's leader but took a fatal wound in battle, and so entrusted her only surviving knight, Bedivere, with the task of returning the sacred sword to where it belonged. Travel across this bloody battlefield and over the hill. You'll find a deep lake. Throw the sword into that lake. But Bedivere did not fulfill that final duty. Fearing the implication of losing the sword, Bedivere falsely reported not once but twice that he had thrown it into the lake. Each time, King Arthur once more ordered Bedivere to throw the sword away. Finally, on the third attempt, Bedivere was able to fulfill his king's wishes. It is said that King Arthur died after making certain the sword had been returned. King Arthur was only allowed to die after the sword was returned. So, Shiro, what do you plan to do now? Tosaka suddenly turns to glare at me. What do you mean, plan to do? I'm talking about that dangerous girl sleeping in the Japanese-style room right now. I told you to leave her alone, but you insisted on carrying her here. I also have something to say on the subject. Though she has lost Berserker, Ilia's Veil remains a dangerous master. I question your decision to shelter her. Yep, you should just leave her with Kirei. The two glare at me as one. That's right. The moment Berserker disappeared, Ilia fainted. She showed no sign of waking up, and I couldn't just leave her, so I brought her back to her back home. Of course, Tosaka and Saber objected, so I carried her myself. A master who loses their servant either flees before another master kills them, or is protected by the church. Tosaka says we should let Kotomene take care of her, but I don't think that priest would take very good care of Ilia, so I'm having her stay in one of our spare rooms. Your actions here are commendable, but it is dangerous to get involved with Ilia's Veil. It's not too late. We may either send her to the church or seize her command spells. Say we're serious. Changing her mind won't be easy. Do you have a problem? We couldn't just leave her alone. Ilia's just a kid, and she wasn't herself. I'd feel bad leaving her with Kotomene. You'd feel bad? How can you say that with a straight face after everything she did to us? I agree, you have too much empathy for Ilia's Veil. She tried to kill you many times, and succeeded 5. The two are more united than ever, but I need to stand my ground. Ilia was our enemy, but she never had any malice for us. As long as she has a good influence, she won't do any more harm. Yeah, you know, I'm pretty sure Saber interacted with Ilia as well, at least a little bit. As I said at the start, I'm not fighting to kill masters, I'm fighting to end the battle. I know that, but... Saber's tone softens, though she's clearly not convinced. But... Oh, yeah, so you're going to forgive Ilia's Veil for everything she's done? Let me tell you something. She attacked other masters, and you don't know how many masters she might have killed. You're going to save her, even so? She only killed one master. We know this for a fact. So... Well, yeah. Ilia admitted she killed Shinji after I let him go. Shinji used Rider to try and kill everyone at school. If that's what he did as a master, I suppose his death was inevitable. But Shinji was a friend of mine for years. I'm thinking of Sakura, I can't just write off what Ilia did. But that means there's no chance at closure. Even if Ilia is no longer a master, as long as she can reflect and feel remorse, I think we should save her. Okay, you might be right. But I, for one, won't ever forgive her what she did to Archer. She killed my Archer. We're at an impasse here. We all freeze, staring at each other. But then... Oh, come on. All servants disappear in the end anyway. If you're worried about that, you fail as a master, Rin. The very girl under discussion appears. Hold it. I have no business with you two. I don't have any intentions of fighting, so don't get angry at me. Honestly, I'm embarrassed for you two, just as fellow ladies. You're older than me, but you're sorely lacking in manners. Saber, technically, Rin, I don't actually know. Ilia shrugs, looking disgusted. What did you just say? Saber and Tosaka are once again in sync. A whole new kind of intensity comes over them. I'm not sure about Rin. I know Ilia is 18. Yes, Ilia is 18. Well, I'm not going to get into that with you. I don't have time to deal with the two of you right now. Ilia turns from them to face me. Ilia? I would like to thank you, Master of Saber. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being so concerned about me, even though I was your enemy. I stare at Ilya in disbelief. So suddenly is this that even Saber goes quiet. Tosaka just keeps drinking her milk, giving Ilya the stink eye. And then, Ilya smiles that familiar smile of hers. Just kidding. Yep, you sure are my brother. She launches herself right at me and hugs me around the neck. What's going on? Tosaka spits out her milk. What the? I can almost hear the vein popping in Saber's forehead. Unhand him, you insolent fool. Saber rushes toward me. Ilya twists around, swinging to my back. Who's being uncivilized here? A servant like you has no right to command me. I have neither obligation, or intent to obey you, but if you will speak so brazenly, then you will remove yourself from Shiro's presence this instant. I'm not listening to you. Hey, Shiro, let's do the same thing we did last night. You give me a piggyback ride, right? Ilya spins around me. Saber hurries after her, trying to catch her. Shiro is growing dizzy. This is bad. What specifically is bad? Well, it's just bad. The two can't stop glaring at each other. It must be because Tosaka's just watching from afar, but she just wipes the milk off her mouth as if nothing is happening and says, Look, I don't care what you do, but if you keep that up, you're going to kill him. The two peer curiously at me. It's pretty clear. My neck's getting wrenched around. I now face the greatest danger of my life. She was using his neck as a pole, it seems. Okay, let's review the current situation. The hamburger steak I've been working so hard on is packed away in the freezer. First, there's Tosaka. She's being relatively quiet. She seems to be keeping a straight face, and it looks like she's going to just watch things play out. But who can say what she might be thinking to herself? What is it, Shiro? Ilya's sitting next to me, and for some reason she looks like she's in a good mood. She's looking curiously around the living room, but it doesn't look like Saber or Tosaka are much concerned to her. Whatever either of them might say is likely to go in one ear and out the other. And then there's the one I'm most concerned about. Saber. She's glaring anxiously at both me and Ilya. She's not usually so fidgety and restless. Feels like I'm resting on a bed of nails, so I can't leave things like this. I don't know what is going to come of this, but I have to do something about the situation. Let's settle this. If we keep this up, it'll drag out until lunch. You're right. We've already come to a conclusion. We should just get rid of the problem as soon as possible. Isn't that right, Saber? That is correct, Rin, and I are in agreement, so we just need to convince Shiro. Saber is really digging her heels in. Hey, Shiro, what do Rin and Saber want to talk out? They want to talk about what we should do with you. You lost your servant, so we want to know what you're planned to do from now on. There's only two obvious options. Either take her to the church for shelter, or send her back to her castle in the forest. Her staying here is out of the question. Do you feel the same way, Shiro? Ilya looks at me, her face emotionless. Okay. First, I'm checking this, so there is no bad end here. I'm going to save it here, not just because it is time to call a stream, or rather because it's a split point, but it's also time to call the stream. Taking Ilya to the church is a bad idea, just because we know what dwells at the church. Yeah, I don't trust Kotomene, so I will probably shelter Ilya. But that's going to have to come next time because my throat is really starting to act up. So I'm going to call the stream here. We got through the whole Heracles fight sequence. Nice and neat. I have no idea how much longer the Fate route is at this point, but with Archer and Berserker down, I cannot foresee the remaining servants taking that long to take out. But that is for future me to concern himself with. For now, present me is calling this stream here, so I have been Soulrack Dragon. I hope you've enjoyed today's stream. If you have, leave me some feedback in whichever way you also see fit. If you want to check out more by me, be sure to check out my channel here on Twitch or YouTube. Same name, same ways. There's plenty of content for all to enjoy. But once again, thank you all so much for coming out. I hope you enjoyed. Have a fantastic evening, everybody.